Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Team 33 training on Thursday, the 16th of May. I see a lot of new faces, and welcome. In case you are brand new, this is not a traditional presentation that we're doing tonight. This is a training session leading up to something very exciting that's happening for the very first time in South Africa. We are having our very first full one-day convention on Saturday, the 25th of May. I'm sure you guys have seen on the group, we've been putting out quite a bit of information. Later on tonight, you're going to see the whole program that is coming out, the list of the 18 speakers and their topics of what they're going to be talking about. So we are beyond excited. It's amazing what your mind can conceive, you can make reality. I remember saying to George right in the beginning when I started just on 18 months ago, very soon into LifeWave, I knew what we were sitting on. I knew that we were sitting with something in our hands that is so special and is going to make such a big difference in this world, and is making a difference and changed a lot of people's lives in this country specifically. South Africa, things are very different. As we all know, we've got a very different market. Things are a little bit more challenging in this country than most. And we make a plan, and we do what needs to get done. And we're all standing together as a beautiful community. And I said to George, I said, one day we're going to be having a convention where we're going to be having hundreds of people together. And this is where we are right now. But it didn't just start where we're going straight into a convention now. There's a lot of work that led up to it. It started off in February last year when we had our very first meeting, our first physical meeting in South Africa. Was at Sandy Feast's house. We phoned Sandy up and said, right, we want to have a meeting at your house, and invite a couple of people. And there were three people. There were three people at our very first meeting. Now we have 7 to 8 meetings just on a Saturday, and having our first convention. And what I'm going to do is before I let George have a word, anybody that doesn't know who George is, George from Mallorca, Spain, he's our upline in LifeWave, and all of us wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. And as per normal, George, I'm so grateful to you for your persistence and getting us involved in LifeWave. And thank you for all your support and everything you do for us and everything you do for the South African team. George is in Spain, we in South Africa. And it just shows you how, because of technology, we've become literally a global village because of the technology that we have in our hands right now. So technology is beautiful. There's 48 of us here globally on a Zoom call. But at the end of the day, nothing beats that face-to-face meeting and giving people a hug. And George and I, we've known each other for a couple of years. And we met each other face to face for the first time in August last year when we were in Tampa. And as George says, he thought I was a little short person because George is 6 foot and he didn't know that I'm also 6 foot. So when we stood next to each other, we are literally, George and I'm talking about to the centimeter. We are like the same height. And man, oh man, I'll never forget when we got eye contact. We just ran up to each other and we gave each other a hug for like a minute. We just wouldn't let go of each other. And that's what it's all about is, as George said, what do you say? De-virtualize.
Devirtualize. There's quite a lot of people on this call who I've met, like I'm seeing Aloma over there. And I try and meet as many people as possible always. We're having an event here in Mallorca with, I think, about 100 people this Saturday. And there are people who I met in Portugal who are coming over, people who are from the south of Spain who are coming over. And because this makes it stronger, what we're doing all the time. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. I just, when I met Chris, I thought he was short. I was sure he was going to be about 5'6", and I kept saying, "Wow, I didn't know you were going to be so tall. Didn't know you were going to be so tall." Even though we've been working together a lot. So anyway, do go on. I'm just waffling for the moment. Super excited about what you're doing. He told me ages ago I'm going to do that, and I didn't doubt him for a minute.
Thank you, George. Well, talking about where we first met was at the very first This Is It convention in the USA. And that's where we met Joe Ramnowski and Aloma and Ashley. They're on the call right now. That's where we met each other and also just gave each other the biggest hugs ever. And I can see Aloma nodding her head. I'm going to ask you to speak just now, and Joe and Ashley, giving us feedback on the importance of events. And let me tell you something. When we went to the This Is It convention, so we all know that all of us, we belong to a team called This Is It. And that was started by Steve and Gina Merritt, who are basically royalty in the network marketing industry. And they have got right now the fastest growing team in LifeWave globally. And we are lucky enough to be within their structure, and they've put such a beautiful duplicatable system in place for us to follow. That's why we are where we are today. But going back to the convention, do you know what it felt like? Okay, they did things on a larger scale. The first convention was 1,800 people, and let me tell you something. Watching these people on the stage and the humility of these people was just absolutely amazing. But one thing that really stood out the most for me is most of us have watched video clips of David Schmidt, our CEO and founder of LifeWave. Like I told you, I've got one word for David Schmidt, and that is the word genius. This man is an absolute genius for what he's brought to this world and making it such a difference in this world. And, you know, I've been to many motivational talks. I've been to many conferences in my life. And let me tell you something. I witnessed something in August that I've never seen in my life before. David Schmidt walked onto the stage, and before he even opened his mouth, he had a standing ovation. A standing ovation. I've never seen that in my life before, that a person had a standing ovation before he opened his mouth. That's because of the hearts that he's touching globally. And, you know, he was so humble. He was so humble. He just stood there and he was kind of going, "Okay, guys, okay, right, you can sit down now. I've got to speak." And it was just so beautiful to see, and the energy in that room. And at the same time, don't forget, as we know, the patches raise our frequency. So can you just imagine having a room of 1,800 patched people? I think we were all actually sort of all levitating a little bit because of the frequency. It was just absolutely insane. And that's what we're doing here in South Africa. We're going to be having our very first live convention in 10 days' time. And what's important when it comes to conventions is the first thing is you need to make sure you bring a pad, a notebook or something, and you've got to bring a physical pen, which is so important because you're going to be writing down a lot of notes. And what's so beautiful is we all know in South Africa, we've got a rainbow nation, and I have put the most amazing, there we go, there's George's pens, all the colors.
4 colors, I always take 4 colors so I can really
pens.
Circle things and underline things and star them in different colors to find them easily later.
And what's going to happen? What's going to happen at the convention? Oh, wow, look at that. Very similar to me. So,
yeah.
So what happens at a convention is you'll notice some of the topics might sort of overlap, right? And what happens is you're going to hear a certain topic and you might think, okay, that sort of makes sense. And then maybe 4 or 5 speakers later, a different speaker might touch on the same topic. And all of a sudden, the pennies drop and you go, is that what they're talking about? I'll give you an example. As you guys know, end of last year, I did a 42-minute video clip called Compensation Plan 101 Basics. I had a lot of very good, a lot of good feedback on it, that people that didn't understand the comp plan came back and said, wow, they get it. And then what was quite interesting was, beginning of this year, Paige Matthews did the compensation plan, same slides, and she covered the same material, but she just used it in a different way, different words, different angle. And people were coming back saying, oh my goodness gracious, that is the best training I have seen in my life on the conversation plan, although it was the same material. So it's, sometimes it's just when a person uses different words, and that's why we've got such a variety of speakers. But I'm going to hand over to George now. And as you guys know, I put the video clip about a week ago. He was live in Lisbon and he spoke for 20 minutes. And there were about 450 people there. George, tell us what happened. What happened in that room with 450 people?
Yeah, well, hi guys. Listen, Chris, thank you. You say thank you to me. I say thank you to you, because you're helping me transmit David's vision as time goes by, and I got to know David. What I said, I saw him in Orlando. By the way, that compensation plan, when Chris was explaining it or doing it on the Zoom, I was on the highway between Miami and Orlando to the Orlando event. So I don't know if you remember me jumping in and out on the highway. So events are amazing because you get to meet people in person. It's kind of obvious, but it's not obvious, because when you sit down with people, lunch, breakfast, or dinner, we hung out with Joe. I think we were pretty exhausted on some of those lunches, running through to make sure we actually got in the queue before there were like 500 people in the queue. But anyways, so I saw at one moment I saw David not being mobbed by a lot of people. And so I ran up to him and I said, because for a long time I'd wanted to shake his hand. And I ran up to him and I said, hi, my name's George. I'm executive director. I'm from London, from Spain, live in Spain, Mallorca. And he said to me, some of you have heard this, but many of you haven't. He said to me, thank you for what you do. What is he going to say? He doesn't know me. Thank you for what you do. I said to him, no, thank you. We need you and the world needs us. And this is what I believe very, very firmly. And this is what, behind my mission. I have a task here. I have a mission. The first thing, I don't know about you guys, but I after COVID, I was living with quite a lot of financial anxiety. Anybody else here with financial anxiety? You can always put your hand up and or do a thing as a comment. Yeah, I'm getting some. So the first thing was when I saw and understood what these patches do, and my first response was, I'm not interested. I'm really not interested. I don't want to do network again. I'm not interested in stem cells. I'd worked with a network once, and I thought the idea was great, but I didn't have the right leadership. And also because they were vitamins, and great vitamins, but everybody sells vitamins. Supermarket sells vitamins, the chemist sells vitamins, the health food store sells vitamins, other networks sells vitamins. And I did that for about a year and a half and went, no, not for me. So was never going to do that again. Not interested in stem cells, because as I understood, they were from aborted fetuses, stolen placentas, and other species, which many of them are. And the person who told me said, no, this is different. And please watch this video. And I went, you want me to watch a 36-minute video for real? Please promise me you'll watch it. So I did. And this is why we're here. Because I saw David Schmidt, incredibly humble man, talking about his technology, and it rang a bell with stuff that I'd read about many, probably 20, 30 years previously. So back to for me, it's the first thing was, yes, I had, like Chris, back against the wall. COVID killed my businesses, and one survived, but it cost me a lot of extra money. So I was looking for something, but once once one was able to not feel like this every time a bill comes in, your clutch breaks, or I was able to go, okay, now I can be relaxed and step back a bit. Not that I'm doing this all day with amongst other things, but I was able to, for example, repaint the whole outside of the house, which had been pending for a long time. We've repainted the whole downstairs, fixed all the broken things, replacing things that don't work. Making life a little bit easier, because having lots of broken things around you is really a drag and gets in your way every day. But anyways, so then my behind all of it is what I say is the mission. I share David's vision to get LifeWave into 1 billion homes, to get the patches into 1 billion homes. Why? Because, as Chris said earlier, the frequency goes up. Some people believe in frequencies, other people don't. But let's say just like this, people get into a better mood when they're using the patches. Forget about frequencies. More people in a better mood helps this world tremendously. And I have noticed it. That room with 1,800 people was a bit harder to notice because it was a lot of people and it was very, very hot. It was a really muggy Florida day. And I think I've been on 3 airplanes. I'd been on 3 airplanes in 24 hours and slept very little. So everything was a bit wobbly. But I've been in a lot of rooms with, like the room in Lisbon with 450 people, between 430 plus 20 people from LifeWave. The energy of people who are using patches, the good humor, that is infectious, and it's something that the world needs more and more of. I go sometimes to the supermarket and I see people who are very stressed or in a bad mood, and I just can't connect with them. And maybe once upon a time I might have had a roce, as we say in Spanish, a bad rub with somebody who's in an uptight mood. Now I just pass by. They're not going to get to me. So I'm very, very excited that you guys are having this 350 person event. I hear from Chris it's not going to be the last one, so I'm going to have to make sure that I come to one of them one of these days. South Africa is a little bit far for the weekend, but anyways, I'll try and time it with another event. I guess the thing is, go get as many people as you can to go with you so that they understand the depth and feel the depth of what we're doing here, to be able to have the strength to transmit it. Look, there's somebody, I'm seeing if he's on the call now. No, he hasn't come. He said he'd try. Warren. He's English, guys. Some of you saw he did a video and put it on the 333 group about starting with a starter pack. Now, and he was kind of back against the wall, pretty broke. Started with the starter pack, didn't have the money to even buy product, and he came across Spain with Corinne, and they drove to Lisbon. He wasn't sure what he was going to come across, nor was Corinne. He was so energized after that event. He went back home, and within a few days he made himself director, because he took the power, the energy of the event with him, and he's inspired. He became so inspired. Even though he was inspired, he multiplied it by I don't know how much, and he became director very quickly. He's arriving in Mallorca tomorrow, and he's another person whose life has completely changed, is on the way to completely change, even more so. So, I mean, I'll let you talk. I don't want to ramble too much. I get a bit excited over this stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, George. I understand what you're talking about. You just can't keep quiet. I could talk on a Zoom for like 6 hours and I don't even need a break. That's what happens when you're on patches. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Zaf. Where's Zaf? I'm going to ask Zaf to unmute. Now, Zaf, many of you guys have seen Zaf Khan. He's done quite a few presentations, one of our top presenters, and he's been in the network marketing space for a couple of years, and he's been to many live conventions. and asked him to jump on and just give us some feedback on the importance of live events. Over to you, Zaf.
Hey, Chris. Hey, George. Nice to meet you guys. Hey, everyone. So my name is Zaf Khan from Durban, South Africa. And, one of my mentors told me something amazing. And he said the best promoters get promoted. And when you look at Muhammad Ali, he made a hell of a lot of money, hundreds of millions. But when you look at Don King made $150 million without even landing a single punch or receiving it. Don King was a good promoter. And in that sense, the best promoters get promoted. So it's the amount of people you get in seats. That's always what's spoken at conventions. Do not leave a seat empty. Bring someone with. Don't go yourself, because it's very hard for you to recreate the same atmosphere for someone else. Now, you could take the most negative person and bring them to the conference. What happens is, when they're sitting there and the vibrations are all at one frequency, guess what? They begin to think differently. Now, I experienced that when I told a friend to bring someone and come, and she said, no, that person's not going to join. Their mind is all set. I told, just bring him and come. And they brought him and came. And 2 hours in, he was thinking on the same levels of us. So people come to a presentation usually with a minimal mindset and leave with a maximum amount of capabilities, because the speakers are going to make them dream again. And in that sense, I always tell people as well that events build businesses, right? We build people and the people build the business. Do not use people to build a business. Build people and people will build a business in that sense. So that's how you create leaders. And, that's really amazing. Events grow your business. You will not leave an event the same way as you basically got there. You will leave with maximum amount of knowledge. And as Chris mentioned, yes, always carry a book and make sure it's the same book for every event. I have an old Afrikaans book that I never really used in school. It's half falling down, but in that book is golden notes. So people who come to events with new books every time, guess what? They're going to be in the same place every time. Keep that book. So when you're sitting in an event, whether it's a one-on-one presentation, just flip through it and read through it, because something in there might flip a switch for you, and you only get better. This business is about repetition. You do the same thing over and over and over and over again, and you get paid. You can get paid more and more and more. So it's a fun business. So thank you so much, Chris, and George, for allowing me to speak here.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to meet you in person one of these days.
Definitely.
Chris, I just want to say one thing.
Exactly.
So because Chris has heard me say I'm never worried about meeting people, and because a lot of people say I don't know anybody, or I don't know what to talk, or if they say no, I'm never worried about meeting people. So the other day I'm in the supermarket, and it's a very hot, muggy day. I'd taken the wrong clothes, so I was steaming underneath my clothes. Plus, they moved everything to different places in the supermarket. They do that every couple of years, and I couldn't find anything. I was looking, my head was like this big, and a guy comes up to me to give me a free card for 100 euros. I said, so what are you selling me? He says, no, I'm giving you 100 euros for free. I said, yeah, but where's the cash? And he was really good at what he did. And I just said, I want you on my team. He said, of what? He's coming to the event here on Saturday. I said, I need guys like you who are not afraid to talk. So doesn't matter where you are, who you bump into, always share it.
Yeah, well, I look at a lot of you guys have seen Sandy Ashfield knocking it out the ballpark, and she's one of our top presenters. She's presenting physical meetings, and she's got a beautiful slot. I'll let the cat out the bag. She's talking about the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. She's doing that on Saturday. And how did Sandy get involved in LifeWave? Somebody saw her limping end of last year and took the guts, patched her, and we've got these amazing people in the team. So it just shows you exactly what George was saying. Zaf, I love what you said there, your golden book. There we go. I've got my book. This has been to a couple of conventions, and like you say, keep it all in one book. Very important. Right. Aloma from Florida. We met also in August, and I see Joe's on the call, and Ashley is there somewhere. I'm going to ask her to pop on just now. Aloma, tell us about your experience Oh, you've had two LifeWave events.
Yes, yes, I have. Well, first of all, I love you, Chris. I love you, George. I love all you guys that I actually met first time at convention last year at the This Is It convention in Tampa. I literally joined LifeWave the end of July, maybe the 19th or so of July. And convention was the 20th or 19th of August. And we lived 3 hours away. I packed up Joe and Ashley. I said, we are going. So I was barely a month wet and under the air with LifeWave. And all I knew that this stuff resonated with me, and I had to go meet my tribe, my people, because this was beyond my imagination. That I can't believe it took me that long to find LifeWave. And meeting George and meeting Chris and Lucinda and Harvey and Olga. I mean, I was a little intimidated at first, but then when you got in that venue over, close 1,800 people, and they started talking and resonating with you, holy moly, that just blew me to octanes, because it's when you get there, exactly what Chris was saying and George was saying, that when you get there in the midst of it, just like you guys are coming up with your convention in South Africa, it is gonna just blow your business out of proportion, because you are going to see what it feels like because you're in it, and you begin to grow, and that passion is gonna just get more explosive, because everybody needs to know about this. That's it. Everybody needs to know about it. And I am just grateful. I love my South Africa upline. It's wonderful. Sally, everybody. It's been amazing. So that's it. And yes, I do have my golden book. I usually transfer it, so it's in a folder. So I have it all together. It's a growing process. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Loma. Thank you. It was so awesome meeting you as well. And I think what we're going to do is I'm going to go straight to your daughter now. Let me mute you. And I'm going straight to Ashley. There we go.
Yep.
Now, Ashley is probably one of the youngest LifeWavers, 20 years old. And I think she was sort of dragged to the event, kicking and screaming, sort of, mom, dad, this is going to be so boring. I want to come to adult stuff. Oh no, please don't bring me there. And I think halfway through the event, I think something completely shifted. And this is a young lady on fire that is going to make such a difference in her life and many people's lives. Sometimes I think, wow, I wish I was younger getting involved in this business. Although, you know what, we're lucky we got the patches now, so at least we can reverse our age. So thank goodness for that. Ashley, I've spoken to her about this a few times. If I close my eyes and I listen to Ashley speak, I think it's my daughter. My daughter and Ashley, their accents are literally identical. They are identical. And I was chatting to my daughter earlier on this evening, and Ashley, I want to get you to have a little chat to my daughter, because maybe Daddy can't convince her to get into LifeWave. Maybe you can have a word with her. Ashley,
I will.
Over to you.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm actually 21. It's okay. A lot of people get my age kind of mixed up. I've been told 23, 22, but whatever. So either way, I am very young. And you're right. When I got to the convention in August in Tampa, I didn't know anything about it. My parents, like literally a week before, were like, do you want to come to this thing? And I was like, I don't even know what it is. I was like, I love to travel, so I'll go. I only went just so I could travel. And then when I was there, I looked around and I was like, no one here looks like me. But it wasn't a negative thing. It was a positive thing. I was like, okay, not bad, not bad. Let me see what this is about. And from the first night on Friday, I was sitting there to myself and I was like, wow, I think I found my people, even though they're not my age, doesn't matter. I was like, I think I found my passion. I think I found my purpose. I think I found everything that I'm supposed to do, literally in the first few hours of me just being there. And mind you, I was supposed to have graduated college, but I took a gap year last year. So I was searching for something entrepreneurial, what to do. And a few months later, I found LifeWave. Since I was 17, I was trying to find something to do that wasn't really college or school or anything. So when I found this, and then it was the power of being in person, because if I probably watched a Zoom presentation, I would have been interested, but I don't think I would have been as interested and as moved and learned so much as I did by being in person. So kind of going back to the topic of today's in person, kind of how important it is, because we went to the convention in October and that was corporate. Even though it was corporate, it was still very important, very moving, very like, I have nothing bad to say about it because it's just so important to be there, whether you join online or in person, because the power of meeting in person and the power of learning in person, you just feel it different than just doing it from a screen. Like you're in South Africa and I'm in Florida. Like you can probably feel my passion, like what I'm saying, but if I was in person and you heard me, you would obviously be more moved. So it's just super important to get as many people as you can to these events. And even if you have one person or even if you have no one, it doesn't matter as long as you're going. Because whenever we went to October and August, we didn't have anyone, but that's okay because at least we have the knowledge to then give to the people, whether we've met them or not, to help them in the future. I don't know if that helped or answered your question or everything, but
Completely. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Like what you just said, I can feel your energy over the Zoom. I can feel it through the screen. Just your passion, your drive, your enthusiasm is like electric, absolutely electric. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for sharing that with us.
of
It was so
course.
real, so real. Going there, kicking and screaming. Although the people were older than you, you felt like you can relate to everybody. Beautiful, beautiful.
Age
Thank
is
you.
just a number. Age doesn't matter.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you.
Of course.
Right, then I've got Sandy. Where's Sandy Feast? Here we go. I'm going to ask Sandy to unmute. Sandy. Now, Sandy's been in the network marketing industry also for a couple of years and has also been to many events. And Sandy is helping out a lot with Lucinda in the background. And Georgie, we met the day before yesterday, or was it yesterday? I'm losing days. And Paige, and we just got so many people just stepping in, wanting to help. And at the end of the day, you've all heard the saying, many hands make light work. And that's why it's going to be a success, because of everybody stepping up and putting their hands up. Sandy, where are you?
I'm here.
There you are. Hello, Sandy.
Can you hear me? There we are. There we are.
But before Sandy speaks, I would like to say, Sandy, I'm just so happy. I mean, we met a little bit before LifeWave, maybe a year before. We had a small interaction, and we got to know each other a little bit. And then when Sandy heard about LifeWave, she did something which was very different to what most people do. She said, I don't need to try the product. I trust George. I trust Chris. I trust Javi. I'm going to try. And on top of it, she was in a situation where she couldn't even buy any product. She came in as a starter pack. So it is such a, I'm getting goosebumps saying this, that she has taken this and become presidential director, on the way to senior presidential director. And I just want to say thank you for everything you're doing. And the other day to me when we were speaking, she said, I think this is the best thing that ever landed on this earth. So I wanted to say that before she speaks, because I'm just so proud of you, Sandy. And I was able to announce that you got presidential in the event the day before. There's a 2-day event in Lisbon, and I said, we have somebody about to become presidential. And then the next day when I was speaking, you became presidential director half an hour before I was speaking, and I told the whole room, and the whole room were cheering you. It was wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, George. And thank you, Chris. It's the best thing that's happened in my life. I have such joy every single day. It really feeds my soul. So everyone's talking about high vibrations and that. That's the first thing I thought of. And it's more so with LifeWave because we're wearing the patches. But when we go to these conventions, you can feel that group energy. And exactly what Chris said, George may say something, Ashley may say something, Chris may say something, and then I say something and the penny drops for someone. And you know, one of the businesses I was involved in, there's a chap called Dr. Steve Nugent, PhD psychologist. And I remember something he said, you've got to hear something 29 times before you fully understand it.
Wow.
And I thought, 29 times?
Wow.
That's ludicrous. Now, I mean, obviously some stuff sinks in quickly, but other stuff takes a little while. And that's why when people say to me, no, I've attended a presentation, I know what's going on, I think, hey, you've got much to learn. That's only one of 29. And it's worth hearing it from different people. But honestly, when someone talks, the penny drops. And what may drop for Chris, George, myself, Charles, whoever, is different. And what I also find at the convention, we build closer relationships. Haven't you found that, Chris and George? That
Absolutely.
and what I found is, not only am I taking notes at the conventions, but a whole new name list starts to develop as well. Because as people are talking, I think of this person, that person, that person. And honestly, the dreams are ignited and people leave so inspired that they move into action. It is life-changing for the individual and for the business. So I encourage every single person, get there with as many of your team. And looking forward to next Saturday.
I want to add something.
Thank you, Sandy.
From what Sandy said. So clusters of people meeting with other people. So from the Lisbon event, there was a guy I met there who I've introduced to Chris. And they're working in Portuguese and Spanish, but they got a few people in South Africa. And the South African people are now, South African Portuguese people are now going to his calls, and they're listening to your calls. So why am I telling you this? You're all in, this is it, you're all in Team 333, except for Ashley and Joe and Aloma. They're not in Team 333. But
Are in Team
even
333.
Huh?
They are.
They are in Team 333.
Oh,
They are.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Forgive me.
They're just not in South Africa.
So what I'm saying is, you're all different teams. Some people are in Sandy's team, some people are in Zaf's team, but basically, all the people who've got energy and power, join your forces together, because that makes more power for everybody. When you join your forces together, I would say we broke into South Africa. With me, with Chris, with Sandy, we broke into South Africa. I'm doing the same thing with Mexico, breaking into Mexico. And I have different people who are not in the same team, but they've all aligned together to break into Mexico. It's a country with, I don't know, 100 million people or something, and they had 1,500 orders in February. So room for everybody. So really, guys, with the people that you connect with and that you can align your energy, join together and work together as a group for everybody's benefit.
Completely agree with you. Thank you, George. And Sandy, I like what you said just now. At a convention, you creating a new name list.
Mm.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Good gem there. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we've got Ilse down in Cape Town. Here we go, Ilse Lotte. I've known Ilse for a couple of years. We met through a mentor of mine by the name of Leslie Miller. And Leslie Miller was my very first upline in my first network marketing company that I joined 27 years ago when I was 22 years old. My very first upline, and walked a very long path together. And everything is connected. And here we are 27 years later. working under a legend. And here we are now finally working together. It's an absolute honor meeting you in Cape Town when we were down there in February. And, you know, you can spot a leader on the other side of a room. Other side of the room, you can have 200 people and you can just spot. And Ilse said to her, "You're going to own Cape Town. Cape Town is yours." And yeah, you're paving the way for everybody. Ilse also been in the network marketing industry for a couple of years, and she's got a couple of gems that she's going to share. She's coming up from Cape Town. Ilse is going to be speaking as well. Now that's commitment, guys. That is commitment. Ilse is flying up from Cape Town for the event. Over to you, Ilse.
Okay, thank you for the nice words, Chris. I think, yes, everyone who knew Leslie just knows this very special gem, the person that that we both knew very well. There's two things that I was thinking of tonight. The first one is when you were talking earlier on about different teams working together. We actually are about 5 or 6 uplines that we all have as a team. But there's 13 of us that really found each other's tribe now. We had an expo, so we like the team, the bende, the ones who know the Afrikaans, the Trompie bende. It's really like that. It's really like this close-knit group. We've got, it's really 5 different uplines, all in team 333, but it all came together on this expo where we were working together. We started with on Saturdays with our presentations, which Chris and Lucinda started us. I think the 2nd of March was the first one. And there's every week, there's either someone enrolling, someone upgrading, someone this, someone that. We work with it. We pass the computers afterwards on as people enroll or as they upgrade. And we work with it. We hear what the other one says. Okay, I'll take over now because he's actually my team. You do this one again. So it's really been amazing. We actually have 2 new diamonds in our team. Now we had one. Hein was a diamond, and we've got 2 new last week and today. They came in. So it's really. One can do anything with the team because one finds the team's strengths and weaknesses, and actually we just work on the strengths of what everyone can do. Now flying up there, so far it's only me and Barry coming up. So I still have a goal. I said, okay, if it's 350 people, we should have 35 people there. We've got 2 so far. We've got a week left, so we've got some work to do, but that's our goal. So it's really going to conventions, flying up to them is absolutely more fun. Driving there is actually even more fun because you really get a close-knit team like that. That's what the expo did for us 3 weeks ago. It was 4 days for the preparation. Took about 6 weeks before the time. We had our own little WhatsApp group, things coming through. This is what you actually say when you find someone who wants to know more about the patches. And so we had a crash courses in different things, but that bonded the team together. So we're now this week looking at who can we all get in Pretoria and Johannesburg to come into the team to introduce them to the patches and have them there. So we 2 out of 35 so far. So there's 33 people to go, so to fill the seats. Okay, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Ilse. Thank you. You know what? That camaraderie, when you're all in a car together, you create a bond that cannot be broken. And I know what you mean about the events. You know, when we were on the call with Viriato from Portugal on Monday, you know, one thing he said, yes, we might be different teams. But he said, if LifeWave is growing, we are growing, which is the ethos that we need to have. So I'm glad you touched on that. Thank you, Ilse. Cannot wait to see
there's
you.
One more thing. There's a great book. I used to be a real estate agent, and there's a fantastic book that Dave Liniger wrote with someone when the company was 40 years old. And it's called Everybody Wins. And it was exactly this concept. There was a year which was the worst year for all of them. But like Shackleton was a guy that went to the South Pole. And he kept his whole team together without them dying in the snow. The next boat could only come within a year. And that was his hero. He said, let's just stay together like Shackleton. All we need to do is go and patch one more person, then we can go again. So, or with them, it was sell one more house. So if one can do that, it's just that one more patch. I mean, our diamond that came in last week was a mutual friend with myself and Sue. That's my 77-year-old, my 88-year-old. You'll still meet them, but they put everything on fire at the moment. And soon I met with Kim, and Kim came to a presentation at MC's house. And from there, it was just Sunday night, her husband enrolled them to start with, and then she found she wanted to phone people. I said, you can't before Roger enrolls you. So Monday morning, she said, okay, can you please speak to Bergie? And I spoke to her. She came in as a gold, and when she got the products 2 days later, she upgraded. So it's really one more patch. That's all it is. Thanks, Chris. Sorry, I've talked too much tonight.
No, you didn't. Thank you. Thank you for that input. Yes, one more patch. One more patch. And you know what's going to happen as well is lastminute.com. That's the world that we live in. I can see what's going to happen next week. Everybody can be booking at the last minute. I can just imagine what Friday is going to be like.
That's true for our event here.
Thanks,
there's no ticket. For our event here, there's no tickets left, and there's loads of people saying, I want a ticket now.
There we go. There we go. So what we're going to be doing is we're having our event, as you know, on Saturday. And then we're going to be having the next event in August. So we're going to be having an event every 3 months. So every season, every 90 days, which is so important. It's like, you know, you think about a fire. Now, if you think about a fire and you've got all the coals together in the fire, and that makes all the heat, and that's how you can make your braai. Okay, that's South African word, barbecue. That's how you make your barbecue. You've got all the coals in the fire. And when you've got all the coals together, you've got the energy and you've got the heat, right? But the moment you take those coals and you take them out one by one, what happens is they start to cool off. They start to cool off very, very quickly. And give it a week, those coals will come completely dead. And what you've got to do is you've got to bring those coals back together, and you blowing that air on and you're igniting the heat. And that's what happens at an event, is all the coals come together. Right, Bridget, and Bridget's going to be one of our speakers as well.
Hello, Chris. Hi,
hello,
everybody. Hello. Oh, well, great to be here as usual. Part of the tribe, as they say. We're all here together. And yes, events. I've been to quite a few in my life as well. And the thing is that for me and for everybody, that face-to-face meeting up with your team, people from wherever, you know, and especially obviously what we've had in the last 3 or 4 years, everything has been virtual. And I just find that also the energy in the room is always right there. You just can't even touch it, it's so high. And people are always so excited. And I think there's going to be even more excitement this first conference of ours or training of ours, because it's the first. It's like, woo, got to get there. It's the first. You've got to be there. And people that sometimes think, oh no, I don't really want to go. Do I really have to go? You know, there's going to be one of the speakers there. Definitely somebody is going to push your button. And if you're not there, you're not going to get your button pushed. So make sure you've got your ticket and you've got your seat ready, because you need to get there with your pen and paper. And I would also advise you to take 2 pens. It's happened to me before. Don't take one. You're writing, and next minute it does. I know, George, you've got half a dozen, not even 4 probably. But some people come with one. I've had a conference where somebody like went dig into my side and said, my pen's run out. Haven't you got an extra pen for me? And I'm scratching in my handbag because I'm trying to help them out with a pen. So take 2 or maybe 3, because you might get somebody sitting next to you with the same problem. They haven't got a pen that works. And events will pick people up. Those people that have kind of lost a bit of fire in their business, by going to an event, they will definitely start to take off again. there's just something that switches with them and they get re-engaged with the program and they start saying, I want to do this, I want to do that. So just get there, get to the event, you'll learn something and somebody's going to touch your button. There you go.
Oh, completely. Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you, Bridget. Yep. That's what happens. That's what happens at the events. Just ignites, and you're going to meet somebody that is going to.
And I always have about 4 extra pens besides my main 4.
I'll make sure I'm sitting next to you, George.
Okay, I want to de-virtualize.
Ask for a different color.
I want to meet you face to face.
George, you said we've got Warren on the
Warren.
call.
Warren is on.
Let me ask him to unmute. There we go.
So Warren, I mentioned him a little bit earlier. You can unmute now, Warren, if you can find the button.
Yeah. Yep, there it is.
Warren, I mentioned, talked about you earlier. You drove across with Corinne. You drove across 7-8 hours from Marbella to Lisbon. They landed kind of exhausted. We went for a meal. They weren't sure what they were going to expect. Warren got so much fire, and I'm usually the person the last to leave anywhere, whether it's a party or a market or an event. Warren, I think he had one night at 1 o'clock, I said, I got to go to bed. He came back so energized, he got to be director. So what is it about events, Warren? What did that do for you? How did that change your whole perspective on LifeWave? Where is it taking you?
Well, it's like Bridget just said when she threw her arms up in the air and said just the energy that you feel in the room. I think we had maybe 450, 470 people in Lisbon. And it's about just connecting with the people, the energy of the people, the learning that you get when you're there is incredible. It kind of just helps to consolidate everything for you. Unlike Bridget, this was my very first event. So, I came away so fired up. Like you say, I ranked up within 5 days, I think. I'm all fired up to come to the Mallorca event. I'm even getting up at 3 a.m. to get on a plane to come to the event for this Saturday. So I see you tomorrow, George.
Yeah, we're going to meet and have breakfast.
And Chris, what you're doing out there in South Africa is incredible. It really is. You're getting everyone fired up so much. So if anyone's got the possibility of going to Joburg for your event, I highly recommend, because I hear you've become a really good speaker now. So the next time I'm in your beautiful country, Mr. Hatting, I want to come and hear you speak as well. But yeah, for everyone on this call tonight, you get yourselves there, because it's about the connections you make. I don't know, it just really gets you so fired up, just like Bridget said. It really does.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you. You know, it's when you're working with something where it's in your heart, you know, we talk about taking it from head and putting it to your heart, and it just comes so naturally. You know, sometimes Sandy says, Chris, how do you do that? We can get you to stand up and talk about a topic, and you can talk for an hour and you haven't even had a look at one note. You only have the ability to do that when you're taking it from here and you put it into your heart, and it just comes through. And when it's your passion, you know, some people have heard me say this before, I'm home now. You know, this is what I've been put on this earth to do. I know that deep down in my heart. I know that deep down in my soul. I've been to hell, through hell and back to get here, but that was part of the journey to get here. There were certain things I needed to learn. I needed to get a couple of battle wounds. I've still got a couple of scars and bruises to show for it. But that's part of the learning process to get to where you are. My life has done a full 25-year closed off circle. And that's how I knew straight away that that I'm home now. So Warren, thank you for that. And really, really looking forward to Saturday. Sure, we've got some secrets that we're going to be sharing with people. No cats out the bag. You're going to have to wait and see for Saturday.
Still took 21 goes to get his attention.
And you got there in the end. No, Chris, it's interesting what you say about feeling like you're home. There's a chap I brought into a call with George on Sunday night. It's his first call. Javier. in staying here. And he said, I felt like I was sat with old friends. And now he's all fired up as well. So it's the connections we make, huh? It's beautiful. So, Chris, if I don't meet you before, I'll see you in Marrakesh. Right now, I'm going to pack.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Warren.
Ciao.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining.
Then let's have a look. I've still got 2 more people that want to have a chat quickly. We've got Magda van Rensburg is a lady that is literally trailblazing, setting LifeWave on fire here in South Africa. Where is Magda? I've just asked you to unmute. Magda van Rensburg, where are you?
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Magda. How you doing?
Oops, good. Fine, thanks, and everybody.
Good.
You know, I'm so excited about this business and about how you and Lucinda and Sandy and everybody, George and everybody is helping all of us. And I know in previous network marketings, if you get to the event, bring somebody with. They won't get out of the event without really getting excited and really wants to go to the next level. So the events are super, super important to get somebody there. And we are so excited about what you and Lucinda and Sandy are doing for us. Thank you very, very much.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Magda. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you. And yeah, let me tell you, at the moment we are what you call burning the midnight oil, so to speak. We've been working around the clock. And let me tell you what Lucinda's been doing in the background. My goodness gracious. She's beyond my life partner. She's beyond my right-hand man. She's my right-hand woman. And I would never be able to do this without her, that I can tell you. So I'm so grateful for what Lucinda's doing for this beautiful community. She's an absolute gem. I saw her peeking her head over there. There's my angel. Okay, and then let's have a look at Dawn. Where's Dawn? I saw Dawn was on the call, and I'm trying to find Dawn. She wanted something to say. Dawn Black. Where is Dawn? I can't find her. Did you come in on a different name, Dawn? If you did, maybe just put your hand up. Can't find Dawn.
Or open the video, because then it'll appear. It'll jump up to a visible part of the screen.
Oh yes, that's a good idea. Let me have a look there. No, can't find Dawn. Okay, oh, that's not serious. Okay. All right, no, everybody that put their hands up that wanted to talk, I just want to say thank you to everybody that participated, and thank you everybody for your valuable input. And again, George, thank you. Looking forward to meeting you at our next convention.
And then later on in the year in Marrakesh. Guys, yes. Don't forget that we got the Marrakesh event trip. It's 4 days, 4 nights in just outside Marrakesh in a place I know it well. And you need to, if you get to be senior director for 6 weeks, they don't have to be consecutive. Then you are entitled for it, or another way by if you're a manager and you hold being a manager or a director position or any position, you get a number of points every week. Say you're a manager or a director or a senior director, you get 1 point a week. By inviting people, you get points. When they upgrade, you get points. When their ranks go up, you get points. And it's a bit of a challenge, but it's certainly feasible. So I'm hoping we're going to see lots of people from South Africa in Marrakesh in November.
Oh, Lucinda just reminded me the program is going to be going out later on tonight. So you guys are going to see the full program. Very, very exciting. Cool. Okay, George, we'll talk more about the Marrakesh, obviously closer to the time. And in interim, anybody that's on the call tonight that doesn't know, Elevida was launched in South Africa yesterday, anybody that doesn't know, I put it on my head last night. Holy moly, my dreams. I felt like reality. It felt like I was in the dream. The scary thing is I could hardly remember the dream when I woke up. Just know it was very vivid, but just can I remember it? So tonight I'm plucking it back on my head, a new Alavida, and maybe I can remember last night's dreams. I'm going to start like a series, episode 27, season 6 of my brain series, my dream series. So guys, thank you so much for your time. Everybody speak your teams. Let's get the tickets going, and let's just fill that room, and let's have a lot of fun. It's going to be memorable, because let me tell you something. I can't remember who said it just now. The first event, because what's going to happen is, mark my words, in the next 3 to 5 years from now, we're going to be at a convention. Zaf and I spoke about this the other day. We're going to be at the Sandton Convention Center or Gallagher Estate, where we're going to be having 10,000 people at an event, 10,000, and we're going to be the ones standing there going, 10,000 people, how did this happen? It started at the G1 Hub on the 25th of November, 25th of May, 2024. This is where it all starts.
Gonna add this, because Steve and Gina, they're always saying, give us 36 months. Now, if I say to Chris, I'm going to ask Chris a question. You've been here doing this for 18 months. How do you see the next 36 months?
Wow. You know what it makes me think of? Everything with LifeWave is accelerated. So if you look at the network marketing industry, they talk about that 3 to 5 years, right? 3 to 5 years. I look at what you can achieve in a shorter time frame. What normally takes 3 to 5 years, you can do in LifeWave within a year and a half to 2, maybe 2.5 years. And I like what Francesca said, the compound effect. When you're at an airport you get those, they like escalators, but they're the flat ones, those flat escalators. Now, what happens is, have you noticed when you're the one doing the walking and there's somebody standing on this flat little escalator, you're both walking, exuding the same energy, right? But the one that's on this accelerator gets there twice as fast as you doing the walking. Although you're both walking at the same speed, but you are on this little platform that is elevating you quicker. And that's what LifeWave is. LifeWave is this flat escalator at an airport. You just carry on walking at the same speed, but you're going to get there a lot quicker. So yes, George, this is like...
So guys, give us 36 months and give it full energy. Give it all your strength, all your heart. If Sandy would unmute, and can you unmute, Sandy? Do whatever you need to do. So Sandy can unmute. I would like to ask you the same question, Sandy. So you're a bit under 18 months, I guess. How do you see the next, when it's 36 months in?
My face was like Chris's.
Yeah, so Chris and I were having a talk the other day, and he used the word unfolding. He said it's amazing watching this unfolding. And this is what you will all discover as time goes by. More and more things will unfold in your teams and in your life. And this is something that is, would you address that bit, Sandy, with the unfolding?
Well, when I started out, I messed around for 2 months first. So I'd be far further down the track, but nevertheless. And yes, it's a whole new journey. And there are pieces unfolding the whole time, constantly. And I think everyone's starting to see that. So what I've seen in 15 months or whatever, if I just look at how much more is going to unfold by Christmas this year?
It's beyond your imagination, or it's beyond...
It is. Then Christmas next year and Christmas the following year. I can't imagine it. but
it's
it's
very,
an exciting
it's very
journey.
exciting. That was the exact word I was going to use. It's very
Very
exciting.
exciting.
It's like got me on tingle toes or whatever you want to say.
And there's massive personal growth. I've still got a huge journey ahead in that life. But I know that there's been massive personal growth already when I look not just myself, but within the team. So how much more in the next year, 2 and 3? It's beyond my imagination.
Yep. And to think that we haven't even started yet. We have scraped the tip of the iceberg. You've heard me say this before. Last year, we were just laying the foundation for South Africa. And now that we have the foundation in place, it's rock solid. And that's what I love about LifeWave. Guys, LifeWave is 20 years old this year. So what we're building on right now is no sand. We're not building on sand. We're building on a very rock solid foundation and a company that's going to be here to stay for many decades to come. So we're at the right place at the right time with the right company, with the right product. So guys, let's strap on. Let's enjoy the ride. Thank you for taking the time out this evening. And I'm looking forward to seeing every single one of you, if not this convention, but at other conventions. And George, thank you. Thank you for co-hosting the meeting with me tonight. And thank you. No, it's a pleasure. And thank you to everybody for your valuable input. Have an awesome evening. Love you all. Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Catch you all on the
Bye-bye.
groups. Good night, everybody. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye. Bye.